This is something again that I really like to ask military guys because I feel like they have unique perspectives, sometimes that surprise people. But most importantly, in my opinion, anyone who's sacrificed on any level tends to be very grateful or more grateful than just your average person. So, when you hear people maybe say that America is a terrible place or that we're an evil country full of evil people, do you kind of cringe when you hear that? Like, what's your reaction when you turn on the news and it's just nonstop negativity around the clock about how awful this place is?
Well, I actually don't turn on the news anymore because of that. It
Smart.
it it's just it's one, not true, and it's unbelievably toxic how that mindset and hearing it all the time. Even if one you believe it, then you go around believing that about your own nation all the time. Like that's a horrible way to feel
Right.
about who you is. They're not leaving, right? They're not finding a more noble country to go to. They're just staying here and they're sulking and they're spreading this horrible idea about how shameful we should all feel all the time. And I don't want to live that way, but I don't believe it. And so listening to it just pisses me off. I don't think that anyone is really able to say that with a straight face unless they have paid no attention to world history.
Right.
Like it takes a real level of ignorance of history to say that America is unique in its cruelty. Like it's just absurd. It's really we're not void of it, but we are certainly not unique in it. I went on a bender around the time I went to Naked and Afraid because I felt like I could use these books to harness a better perspective and get me through the suffering that I anticipated. And they were recommendations by Jordan Peterson, who I like to listen to a lot of the things he says. He's a very interesting person as well.
Yeah.
Um, but I read the Gulag Archipelago. I read Mao's Famine, Unit 731.
The old Japanese torture unit.
Oh yeah, I read the making of, or oh, what was it? It was another German book about the psychology of how they got these German policemen to do murders who were just regular cops.
Oh,
And
yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. And it's about how like none of them opted out of it. Like they just all were
yeah,
okay. I know the book you're referring to.
yeah, man, and sort of the peer pressure involved, or the how that happens. I read all of those books, and I'll be honest, it probably took me 3 or 4 months to get over them. Like Unit 731 with the Japanese torture camps was specifically difficult. The rape of Nanking, that was
Right.
another one. Holy hell. Like, how could you look at America and honestly believe, like, yes, we had slavery, but slavery was brought here because it was everywhere else, right? Like, this was the place everyone was going. We didn't invent it here, but we did get rid of it. And we killed a whole lot of people to do that. And I think that the people that say that, one, are either trying to be trendy and different, and they just don't understand what the hell they're saying. Uh, they're wildly ignorant of the world and mankind's history, because we're not unique in that. Like everybody, history's been conquest since the dawn of time. Um, I actually feel like the invention of capitalism and fair trade and markets is what kind of ended the conquest. It still happens in some places, and we still use conquest in economic ways, but we're not raping and pillaging villages to steal resources like we were, at least. Um, I don't listen to them, man, and I usually shut off that connection when people start to talk that way. It's like you and I are on such different pages. I'm happy to finish this dinner or whatever we're going to do cordially and change the subject, but it's not a conversation I'm interested in having unless they're actually open to it.
Right.
But from what I've seen, they're not. They get super emotional and then they just start calling you names. I'm like, all right, like you're not interested in anything but the way that you feel. And so
And allow me to add something. You know, we're not, I don't know when this is going to air, probably in a couple of weeks, but September 11th, 21-year anniversary passed not that long ago, right? Just a few days ago. And I think
yeah,
one of the things that always stands out to me, I'm 30 years old. I almost forgot how old I was for a second. When those planes hit those towers, you saw strangers, plenty of stories of strangers rushing to help other complete strangers. And a
yeah,
lot of them died doing it. You know, a
yeah,
lot of people never made it home. And to me, that's what upsets me when I hear the America's a terrible place. It's like, no, it's really not, because, yeah, we have bad people and bad things have happened. But when push comes to shove, the fact that people are willing to die for people they literally don't know whatsoever in an absolute crisis, that is a spirit to me that if you can look at that and think this is a terrible country, frankly, you're an idiot.